Howdy there folks, and welcome to Bullets for Bucks. My name's Steven, and today we're going to compare the CVA Cascade against the Gen 2 Ruger American rifle. And we're going to see how these bolt action rifles compare, but first let's go to the range and see how they perform. Man, first shot's money. Oh, now we're talking. Okay, we are going to shoot Ruger Gen 2 at 200 yards, 300, and then we'll go 4. We'll just go 1.5 MOA for 200. Just that parallax, the middle gong there. All right, first round hit. Velocity on that, 2755 again. All right, 300 yards, Ruger American Gen 2. We're gonna go 4 MOA. 150 grain SSTs are flying good out of this gun. We'll go on the circle all the way to the left. First round hit. Velocity on that was 2750. All right, 400 yards, Ruger American Gen 2. I'm actually guessing holdover. Hitting them though. All right, now that we're back from the range, let's go over the fit, feel, and function of each rifle and then talk about those results. So here we have about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick recoil pad, nice soft rubber. Here's the original Ruger American standard Gen 2 stock, about 3/4 to a 1 inch thick, hexagonal cuts in it, nice and soft and curved. I prefer this recoil pad, it just feels a little more comfortable to me. Coming forward, you have a plastic hollow sounding polymer stock on both, but the polymer sounds a little bit more solid on the CVA Cascade. You have a spacer system that's adjustable on the Ruger American Gen 2. On the CVA Cascade, you also have removable spacers, at least on some of the models. On the Ruger American Gen 2, you have a razor or a cheek rise right here. And on the Cascade, you do not, although it is available in some other configurations. Coming forward, you have like this little bit of a soft rubber touch to the CVA Cascade. And on the Ruger American, you have this splatter coat paint job. Both, in my opinion, work just fine. Pretty traditional palm swell and grip here. I would say the Ruger American feels just a little thinner at the neck, but then fatter down in the base of the hand. And then coming forward, you have a plastic trigger guard that's part of the stock on the Ruger American Gen 2. And you have a plastic trigger guard that's not part of the stock on the CVA Cascade, which is nice because if you break it, you don't have to replace your whole stock. Then you have a push tab release for a flush fitting magazine on the CVA Cascade. On the Ruger American, you have a separate piece that fits right in here, and it takes AICS pattern magazines, and it has a little lever right here that's held in with a roll pin. I do not like this. If the bolt is forward, it's hard to seat a magazine. I've had some issues with feeding, and I don't like that it's all polymer and that you have to basically remove that little magazine release lever to remove the barreled action from the stock. Also, that lever for me is hard to operate compared to release tab in the front of the magazine, at least on a hunting rifle. Although with the Ruger American Gen 2, if you're going to use it in some sort of competition or want to use it with AICS pattern magazine specifically, it's a better option in that regard. The receiver on the Ruger American Gen 2 is cut out on the left side. It's Cerakoted, it looks pretty, and has 2 recesses in it that marry up against 2 V-block bedding blocks right in the front and rear receiver screw. And then you have nice hexagonal reinforcement down the barrel channel, sling swivel stud in the front, sling swivel stud in the rear. I think I flinched on that last one. It likes that 150 SSTs, I believe. Probably right at 3/4 MOA, maybe 1 MOA. sub-quarter MOA with factory ammunition, ELDX ammunition. Grip on this, pretty traditional. I do like the groove right here. It allows me to really get good purchase on it. On the CVA Cascade, the receiver's cut out on the left side, similar to the Ruger American. Depending on the model, it's Cerakoted or not Cerakoted. The CVA Cascade has a 70-degree bolt throw, 3 locking lugs, a little extractor in the lug, and a plunger ejector. Very, very similar to a Ruger American bolt. I mean, it almost looks identical. Release is on the left side. It's basically identical or similar to the Ruger American Gen 2. The bolt is polished, but there is a little bit of a zipper sound. The Gen 2, no zipper sound, definitely noticeably smoother and quieter. Metal bolt shroud on the Ruger American Gen 2, I think it might be, or it might be plastic, I can't tell, on the CVA Cascade. Removing the bolt on the Ruger American Gen 2, very similar, but the bolt knob is easy to remove on the Ruger American, and it has a nice round bolt knob on it and a cocked indicator at the rear. But you can see right here, I mean, they look almost identical. Very, very similar bolts out of the CVA Cascade and the Ruger American Gen 2. The CVA Cascade has a curved trigger blade. It's really nice, crisp and clean. Breaks at 3.5 pounds. Putting the safety of the rear does not lock the bolt in place, but you can't fire one forward fire. So the Ruger American Gen 2 has a 3-position tang safety. All the way to the rear locks the bolt in place. One forward, you can unlock the bolt but not fire, and then all the way forward you can fire. Has the marksman trigger in it, and center blade, curved trigger blade. It's adjustable, but this one didn't seem to really want to adjust, and it breaks right at 3.5 pounds as well. So these triggers are extremely comparable, at least in these two models. The Ruger American did come with a 20 MOA Picatinny scope base rail, which is nice. The CVA, this particular one, did not. Also, as mentioned before, the Ruger American is Cerakoted. Now coming forward, they both use a barrel nut system. The recoil lug system or bedding system of the CVA Cascade has a recoil lug sandwich between the barrel and the receiver. Much like a Remington 700, I really like that system and it works quite well. Also, this particular one has a metal pillar bedding in it, so it gets the job done. I can't really say one is necessarily better than the other. They both work. The Ruger American has a spiral fluted barrel and is Cerakoted with a Cerakoted radial muzzle brake included, which is really nice. The CVA Cascade does not come spiral fluted and comes with a thread adapter and is threaded 5/8 by 24. Both are free floated barrels. And of course, the fore end on this one is textured. It doesn't feel quite as good in the hand as the Ruger American Gen 2. All right, we got the new Ruger Gen 2 in 308 Winchester, the new Vortex Viper HD 3-15 by 44. Shooting 975 yards, 28 MOA of elevation here, almost 0 wind hold today. All right, here we go. Ready? I flinched. Man, that first shot's money. Oh, now we're talking. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what really matters. They're both very accurate, but in my opinion, the CVA Cascade tend to be a little bit more accurate out of the box. I really think they're a great value and they shoot fantastic. So, pros and cons of the CVA Cascade. It shoots extremely well. I haven't heard issues of them not shooting well. I haven't had any feeding, ejection, or extraction issues. The magazine system seems a lot more intuitive and works better in my opinion. I mean, it's just a very accurate, easy to shoot rifle. Cons, doesn't have a 3-position safety like the Ruger American Gen 2. The stock is definitely not as nice. It's nice, but it's not as nice in my opinion. The stock on the Ruger American Gen 2 just feels a little more rigid, has the comb raise in it, a little bit better butt pad, just feels a little bit better in the hand. So like in my opinion, I like that stock ergonomically at least better than the CVA Cascade, but both are good. Now the Ruger American Gen 2, pros and cons. Pros would be it can take AICS magazines. Pros, it would be it has a 3-position safety. It's Cerakoted, spiral fluted, and comes with a muzzle brake. Pro would be that it comes with a 20 MOA scope base, though the CVA Cascade, at least this particular model, did not. Cons would be I've had issues getting the magazine to seat with the bolt forward. I've had some feeding issues, and in my opinion, not quite as accurate out of the box, generally speaking, but you can't really definitively say that, than the CVA Cascade. At the end of the day, I'd probably get the CVA Cascade over the Ruger American Gen 2, but man, it's a really close call. And the reason for that would just be simply that I haven't heard issues with it, the magazine or feeding and extracting as much. They just shoot really good. So that would probably be the reason I would go with a CVA Cascade over the Ruger American Gen 2. Hope you enjoyed this comparison of the Ruger American Gen 2 versus the CVA Cascade. Thanks for watching Bullets for Bucks. Check out this next video and subscribe.